Hello card fighters, this is Kyle D from Ride My Avatar, bringing you a deck profile for Cardfight Vanguard. This one relates to my boy, my baby, Chronofang Tiger. Well, you know, Gear Chronicle, this is the updated deck list from the Nextstage. So, we have Chrono Tiger. So he's, of course, if you're playing this deck, and you do not play him, you are not playing that deck right. I'm sorry, Chrono Tiger is the only reason why you play this deck the way you do. So, well, I mean, you can play any other starter, but you're wrong if you don't play this one. So, all the starters have an errata on them. They will gain the quick shield, no matter what. So, always know that. So, you gotta play that. So, and it's given when your opponent goes first. So always remember that. That's our starter boy. So go on to the grade 1s. I run 4 Chrono Tiger. So best grade 1 starter history. So at the beginning of your ride phase, draw a card. So when this card is discarded for a card cost from your hand, counterblast 1, draw a card, and call this card to rear rested. If it was not rested, it would be broken. So, definitely, reason why he sits there and spikes is because of the fact he is expensive. So, next we play, you know, our girl, Quickie Worker, because Quickie Worker is the reason why you can put your grade 4s back. So, if you have to discard them, you know what? You're going to be striding a few times. Well, let's put it back into deck. Cool. That is the best part. What you need to do. Now, on to our newest edition. Every deck starts running these. Is your top 5 searcher for grade 3. So, when placed, look at the top 5 cards. This card, reveal a grade 3 from among them, add it to your hand, shuffle your deck, and if a card was put into your hand, discard a card from your hand. Plain and simple. If you whiff, you whiff. You don't have to add the grade 3. You might want to just shuffle up or something like that. It's there for that reason and reason alone. And if you discard a card, it instantly gained 5K. You know, since Gear Chronicle discards everything just to do most of its effects, this card always has the 5K active. So remember that. It will always swing for big numbers. Next, we're going to go on to our grade 2 lineup. So, first off, you need this boy, because you discard so much and Value Town is needed. So, we have Steam Scarab Ikuba. So, counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand. One of your vanguards gets +1 drive until the end of turn, and it gains, when discarded, it gains +1 grade basically, or it counts as a grade 3. Just simpler terms. Next, we run the other waifu of the deck, Naboo. So, Steam Mechanics Naboo. So, when it attacks a vanguard, bind a card from your drop zone. I know binding ain't really meaning anything, just binds it, gets out of the way, but it makes it so your opponent can't guard grade 1s or graders for the turn, which isn't what you're looking for. So it makes it so that if they have to guard this thing with a Force 2 on it, or an extra crit, they're basically negated from half of it and have to drop grade 0s the whole time just to guard it. And with minusing out as it does, a lot of those shield values start slimming down pretty quickly. So she's there, and then she, at the end of the attack, she goes into soul to draw you a card. So always remember that. Next, our next latest addition is Smoke Gear Dragon. So when it attacks a vanguard, it gets +5,000 until the end of that battle. If you wrote a grade 4 this turn, Soul Blast 1 to draw a card. So that's fantastic. Being able to draw after you discarded your basically hand just to be able to do this. So now you're refilling your hand back up to 7 quite easily, or 5 or 6, you know, just because he can do that. And because your soul isn't really used in this deck, it's fantastic. And he also counts as a grade 3 when discarded. So that's great. Next, we play the heart and soul of the deck, Chronofang Tiger. This is the main reason you would play this deck, and he's the heart and soul of it. So it has the Strider effect, so it'll search for grade 4 basically by discarding a grade 3 from your deck, calls it on Vanguard as stand, and then it'll destride itself and then rewrite itself from soul, and you gain the extra pluses. You know, you gain another force marker. And then when a unit is written on top of it, well, has been placed on top of it, this unit, discard a card from your hand, and that unit, as long as it's Chrono Tiger Rebellion, it gains plus critical, plus drive 1. So, making a very deadly combo, and it's very powerful. You can push for aggro so much, it's not even funny. Next, we play basically the discard of the card. I use it because having a Chrono Jet in there is just funny. So when you discard Chrono Jet for cost, you discard it for Fang's cost. It's just there for the drive, discard of a grade 3. At the end of the day, I just use it more or less for that. But it does have an ability when it attacks counterblast. Until the end of turn, this unit gets plus 5,000, and your opponent can't call Sentinels from his or her hand. Very powerful, very strong. So, you have to do that as you see fit. So, remember, it's just there for discard. It belongs in the trash. Jet is trash to us, so we use it as a laughing joke. Discard. So, next we have Chrono Tiger Rebellion as your grade 4. The basically stride of the deck. So, depending on how many cards in hand, so if you have 5 or less, 2 of your front row rear guards, your opponent's rear guards get retired instantaneously. 2 of them, boom, gone. If you have 3 or less, your units in the front row get plus 1,000 power. So all 3 of the columns get plus 1,000. And then it's when you have 1 or less, you gain the ability of when this unit attacks, flip all your damage zone face down, and you pretty much go minus 5,000 all guard shields. So if you do force 2 with this deck, you're instantly swinging with 3 crit with this deck with a minus. There's no matter how many times it comes down to it, I have swung with just the Vanguard on first turn, on the first grade 3 turn, and swung in with the extra crit. If they don't have the PG, they don't have the PG, and they're taking 3 damage that turn because you're aggroing so much in this deck. It is a very Force 2 heavy deck. I barely use Force 1. I only use it in certain matchups, and it's very rare that I have to. So, next, we play 4 heal triggers, because mandatory, and you gotta play that one because she is Bae Uru. Next, 4 crits. 8 crits. Just because fanciness. And here is 4 draws. I've been testing the waters with crits, draws, and crit draw for the Sentinels. And you can go either way. It really comes down to how you see your playstyle. And to me, you could either go one of 2 ways. You can go straight up crit value town. You could go 12 crit and not really matter as much. Or you could splash in 2 crit of the Sentinel and just keep 2 PGs. I feel like even though you discard so much in this hand, hitting the Sentinel draw in the middle of the drive check to add an extra card and go back up to where your hand was helps so much, and your opponent can't really do much to stop you. So this is my Chronofang Tiger build. Remember, if it's Jet, you're wrong. And I'll catch you next time.